What up, fam? It's your boy, SlenderBoy2024, streaming to you live. Before we begin, I need to get off a little dramatic monologue. My frostbitten body lay there on the side of the frozen road, off the beaten path of an Oregon trail. I gazed at the snow-white scenery, covered in thick silent hill fog, my eyes beginning to glaze over. I was swimming, no drowning, in a pool of my own blood, as I succumbed to multiple stab wounds. That maniac's voice echoed in my head. One little slice indeed. I had a vision of heaven, the afterlife. A chorus of three bodacious beautiful babes ushered me into my eternal happiness. They were clothed in nothing but their angel wings, and these three sirens were none other than Elizabeth Olsen, Sydney Sweeney, and leading the chorus with her beautiful song was, of course, Ariana Grande. I was ready to give up on life, to give up on YouTube, and join them in the clouds, when I remembered, I haven't reviewed Season 2 of Arcane yet! My eyes snapped open, and just like Spider-Man in Kraven's Last Hunt, my fist erupted from the grave. I was reborn a new man. Whew. Sorry, I just had to get that little dramatic monologue off of my chest. As you guys know, I recently had a very scary near-death experience where Slenderman's proxy viciously attacked me in Oregon on my travels, on my big little trip to try and escape, to flee my home state. This is where I discovered, I think both of us, both me and the other guy, what's his name, Slenderman2024, both of us have been declared proxies of Slenderman, okay? And he himself declared that we would be given certain powers. This kind of explains, I've been thinking about this for a while, this kind of explains how Slenderman2024 is able to hack my channel now and then. I think he has certain powers over the internet and whatnot, as does the OG Slenderman himself. I have been given no such powers. However, I do think I have been given some sort of regenerative abilities because my wounds, which should have been fatal. I definitely had a near-death experience, but I was able to regenerate. I was able to come back a new man after a day or two's rest. So I definitely, my abilities are growing. I am basically ready to declare myself a demigod. I am so powerful. I am more powerful than I've ever been. And I need to review more things on YouTube. I need to review Arcane Season 2. That is why I'm back from the grave. Some eagle-eyed viewers have pointed out to me that the proxy that attacked me, right, with the knives and the fog, appears to be the same or a similar man to the one I saw in that wooden cabin in my Blair Witch-esque video. Perhaps it's the same proxy that Slenderman sent after me on my journey. I cannot confirm or deny. Other eagle-eyed viewers have mentioned that the two knives that this proxy used to attack me, they were very distinct, very colorful knives. They apparently are the same ones that Slenderman2024 himself used when he was throwing them at trees. So he threw GG at a tree in that original video. Yeah, I was a little busy being stabbed to death. I didn't really notice what those knives are, what color. But yeah, people pointed that out to me. Perhaps Slenderman, he gives all of his proxies, the same knives as weapons. I mean, I have received no such things myself. But it's possible. It's possible. But yeah, moving on, Everyone and their mother is talking about this Netflix show. You guys have heard of this, Arcane, the League of Legends show on Netflix? Everyone's telling me to watch it. And it's getting rave reviews. It's on, Season 2 dropped not too long ago, and everyone's just losing their minds about it. I'm not kidding when I can't get through a day without at least 3 or 4 people asking me about it. Oh, have you seen Arcane yet? Are you going to review Arcane? I'm getting constant DMs, constant flood of DMs about Arcane. I've seen some clips. It looks pretty cool. But you guys know how I am with the popular shows. So like everyone is like telling me to watch it, right? So of course I go and immediately watch the other video game show on Amazon Prime, Secret Level. Secret Level also just dropped. Part 1 of that. There's going to be 2 parts. Part 2 is forthcoming very soon. But yeah, part 1, the first 8 episodes are already out on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend it. Yeah, sorry, I had a little gotcha there. I'm sorry. I had a little clickbait gotcha rug pull moment where I was like, oh, Arcane Season 2. I know that's what's trending. Yeah, I will watch it. I promise. I will watch it. I'll review it. But that's not what this video is. Sorry for the rug pull. But yeah, I'm reviewing the other show because I think it deserves more attention. That's what this channel is about, guys. It's about the lesser sung heroes. You know, everyone and their mother is talking about Arcane. Why, you know, Arcane doesn't need my voice. It doesn't need me to like prop it up. You know, everyone knows about it. Everyone's glowing about it. You know, Secret Level does. A lot of people don't know that it's out. A lot of people, you know, it's just kind of flying under some people's radar, and it shouldn't. You know, you really need to know about this show. So that's why I'm talking about that tonight. Sorry. And it's also a much easier watch. Arcane, you know, I think each episode's like 45 minutes, something like that. So it's more of a time commitment. You know, I'll get to it. It's just, yeah, you know, these days it's hard to find time. But yeah, Secret Level, the longest episode will be, it depends because it's an anthology series, but the longest episode will be like, yeah, maybe 20 minutes. You know, it's not bad. And then there's some episodes that are like 10 minutes or less, or like 7 minutes. So it's like, come on, you can fit that in on your lunch break. You know what I mean? So yeah, starting right off, the first episode's about Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, Secret Level, it's about, I mean, it's like a Marvel What If type of show. It focuses on video games. That's my only criticism really, is the show kind of, I think everyone's saying this, the show bit off more than it can chew. It's just like, what's like the theme or what's the focus? Oh, just like video games. Like, so an episode could be about anything, about any video, you know, that's quite a lot, you know. You could make a show just of, you could make a show like this just of like, whatever, just of Bandai Namco games, just of Sega games, just of, you know, just of Nintendo games, you know. But yeah, like anything, you know, just of Sony games. But yeah, anything is kind of fair game here. And there's some interesting choices, really. It's like I said, the first episode's about Dungeons and Dragons, which you wouldn't normally. And there are D&D video games, so it counts. But yeah, it's a little. Some of the choices are surprising. Yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons episode, pretty cool. Every episode has really good visuals, but yeah, this episode had really freaking good visuals. If you've ever seen cutscenes from Baldur's Gate 3, the newest one, that almost look like, you know, photorealistic. Yeah, the graphics or the, you know, the effects in this show are phenomenal, especially this episode. Again, it's hard to talk about because the episodes are so short. I don't want to like give too many spoilers, but like, long story short, this band of adventurers, they save this boy who was like captured by cultists. He was about to be like, you know, executed or sacrificed, and they're trying to get this, like, he has like a very Lord of the Rings Sauron-y thing going on. Like this thing keeps on kind of talking to him, invading his head type of thing. So like, yeah, he's trying to get rid of that, and they have this like amazing fight with this dragon at the end. Like, yeah, like, again, the visuals are worth it alone. I think that's the one criticism that people have, is like the episodes, they feel a little too short. For me, I think they're just perfect. Like, they're just kind of like a bite-sized taste of this game, and if you want to know more, play the damn game. But yeah, no, I definitely felt that way for a lot of these. It's like, oh, I wish there was like another episode. I wish this episode was like 10 minutes longer. But that's a good thing, right? I would, you know, much prefer that over a show overstaying its welcome. Like, I've seen so many shows where it's like the episode's 15 minutes, and I'm like, I wish it was like 10 minutes shorter. You're really kind of dragging your heels in some parts. Yeah, no, this is the complete opposite of that. Like, every episode is so bite-sized, so compact. It's great. It's great. I loved it. So yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. Shit. Yeah, am I gonna rate each episode? Sure, let's do it. D&D, I didn't want to like start off too high, but like D&D was pretty great, and I, you know, I love D&D in general, so like I'm gonna be a little biased here, but I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Moving on to Sifu. That's why the show is great, because it's showcasing games that you obviously already know and love. That's the catch-22, is, you know, they have to cover games that people already know, or else they won't watch the damn show to pull in the fans. But at the same time, yeah, you want to showcase some games that people don't know about, because that's, you know, this is the opportunity for that. So Sifu is like a game that flew under a lot of people's radars from a couple years ago, but it's a really cool martial arts game with a really cool reincarnation mechanic that I don't think I've ever seen before. So in Sifu, you're, you know, this martial artist, and when you die, you know, you can die just like in any other game, and it's not like you have like a counter for lives. I mean, you kind of do. He has like these like coins on his like waistband, and each time he dies, one explodes. But the whole idea is, when you die, you age. So he starts out as a young man, and by the end of the game, and also the short, you're gonna be an old man. So like, it's not, you know, it's not an exaggeration to say that this dude literally spent a lifetime trying to get revenge on this criminal, on this gang leader. It's pretty epic, and once again, the visuals, it's very similar to Arcane, like where they have like the 2D, 3D like combination style. At least for the Sifu episode. The Sifu, yeah, it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. The animation is so good. And there's a great scene towards the end where he dies and he kind of like goes into like this pool of all of his like past lives or past selves and sees like all of his past deaths or possible deaths. It's a really cool visual. I'm gonna give this an even higher score. I thought Sifu was great. It sold me on the game. I wanna get the game now and play it, which is like all you can ask for from this type of show. So I'm giving Sifu episode a 10 out of 10. Moving on, we have the New World episode. This is another game that flew under a lot of people's radar. I completely forgot about it until I saw this episode. The New World is Amazon's MMO. They have an MMO, and it's like, from what I've heard, the game is a little generic. It's like kind of your typical MMO, except like their whole thing is it's a mystical island, but like all these like colonizers, like think of like colonial Americas. Okay, so like that like style of like clothing and weaponry and whatnot and ships. So that's their gimmick, and that's what kind of makes that distinct. But yeah, this is actually one of my favorite episodes too. I'm gonna have to give this a 10 out of 10. And once again, you know, the graphics, the visuals are like photorealistic. They're perfect. They look like Baldur's Gate 3. The lead character is played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he is a riot. He is hilarious as King Elstrom. He's just like the ultimate, you know, full of himself king, you know, born into aristocracy, born into riches, has no idea that like everyone was basically kissing his ass and like letting him win every contest, every fight ever. And he gets a reality check when he lands on this island and everyone dies except for his one, you know, lifelong advisor and you know, servant. Yeah, he gets a reality check, and it's so funny because like on this island, the whole gimmick is you can't die. When you die, you just resurrect on the island. So he's you know, challenging the king of the island for his crown over and over and over again, and it's just a full blown comedy. And his lines are so funny, like the way he talks. Like I you know, there's some golden quotes. He'll talk about how like, oh, like, you know, I'm allowing you to bask in my radiance or whatever. You know, his friend, his advisor resurrects too, and he's like, oh, you must have been in the parabola of my the corona of my radiance or something protected you too, or you know, like the way he talks is so damn funny. But yeah, it's great, and like the king eventually just kind of gets fed up and gives him the damn crown. But then the punchline is he opens the chest and like he has like a bunch of other crowns. Like it's so funny. Like it's again, I'm rating it 10 out of 10 for the comedy. And there's a great moment at the end where it's also like it's funny, but it's also, you know, really dramatic and heartwarming at times. Like he has a good moment with his advisor. They become friends, like genuine friends at the end, and they do some really cool visual tricks in this episode. Again, that's just like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. That's why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. But at the very end, like the final shot, I don't know how many people caught this, but like King Elstrom standing with his advisor on the beach, and there's a ship near him, and like on the prow of the ship, there's like a statue holding a crown outwards, and the way the camera turns and like the kind of the final frame, you don't see it at first, but in like the final frame or so, it looks like the statue is putting the crown on Elstrom's head. So he's finally become like a worthy king. You know what I mean? Like it's chef kiss, like perfect end note. Moving on. Okay, yeah, I'm spending too much time on the ones that I like. I liked all of them, but there's clearly ones that I like more than others. Okay, episode 4, Unreal Tournament. Again, a lot of these I haven't played most of these games. I don't know much about most of these games, but they all sold me. They all sold me. Unreal Tournament is a game going way back, like a first person, you know, death arena shooter, and the plot's very cool. It really feels like a Love, Death, and Robots episode, and the creator of this series, coincidentally, you know, yeah, not coincidentally, like, yeah, he's also behind Love, Death, and Robots. So if you like that show, you're gonna like this. So, like, think of this show as Love, Death, and Robots, but focusing on video game characters or you know, scenarios. But yeah, long story short, there's all these like minor robots that are being, you know, really abused, and they by the humans, and they've had enough, and then they kind of, you know, get fed up. You can see where this is going a mile away, but it's not the plot, it's the execution of the plot that makes it interesting, that makes it exciting. But yeah, there's a robot revolt. They kill some humans, and then as punishment, they're thrown into the Unreal Tournament, into these death games, and it's really exciting. The little battles are really freaking cool. The way they use the arena to their advantage and everything. And we follow this one robot, but he's able to kind of do this cool thing where he can kind of like jack his consciousness into other robot mainframes. You know, it's yeah. Again, I don't know anything. Again, like I'll defer to the fans. Like I don't know how well this represents the game, supposedly, but the episode, the short, was awesome, and yeah, it made me interested in playing the game. So there you go. Again, it was kind of a it didn't reinvent the wheel. It was like definitely a sci-fi robot revolt story that you've seen many times before, but it was fun. It was exciting. It was, the action was great. The graphics, the visuals were great. Yeah, I'm not gonna give that a 10. Let me give that a strong 8. I can't give everything a 10 because then the 10 would have no meaning, right? Warhammer 40K, episode 5. Oh my god. So I have friends that are so into Warhammer, like the miniatures, the tabletop game. I don't know anything about that shit. That series has always like intimidated me. It's supposedly like very hard to get into, and I just didn't have much interest in it. The little bit that I know is that Warhammer, I think, coined the term Space Marine. It predates Halo. Even it predates all of these other Space Marine games, but yeah, Warhammer is totally a big thing. So, and I've been on like the subreddits. People love it. People love the short. They think it represented the series and the lore and the characters well. So there you go. Yeah, I thought it was really entertaining. I thought the action was pretty intense, pretty amazing. They fight this, I don't know, this like wraith type of thing, and it's pretty damn scary. I'll say that. Like it's like this. Could use a D&D term, but like, it's almost like a mind flayer. Like it'll get inside your head, but it'll like destroy your head. And it's like there's some really cool visuals when it's like invading different Space Marines' minds, and like the way it's like head opens up and all these like eyes come out. Like it's freaky. It's a really cool monster, and the action is really on point. Me personally, like I just Warhammer's just not my thing, but I did enjoy the episode. I'm going to give that a strong 8 out of 10 as well. Moving on, yeah, I'm just going through these in numerical order because like it's hard to pick favorites, and I'd be here all night trying to like rank these episodes, so don't make me do that. But I am doing my best to kind of like rate them as I go. Episode 6. This is the one that everyone either this I've heard everyone, they're either talking about this or the Warhammer episode. I like the Pac-Man episode better. The Pac-Man episode, I'm right away 10 out of 10. If you can only watch one episode, watch it, and it's short. It's like 10 minutes. Watch it. Like watch it right now. The Pac-Man episode, I don't want to say too much. It's so good. Again, it was one of those. I wish it was longer. I wish you could like expound upon it, like what comes next. And they will, because plot twist, and you can look this up. Look up the trailer for Pac-Man Shadow Labyrinth. There's a game coming out next year, and this episode, plot twist, is just a trailer, basically just like a glorified trailer for this game that's coming out. They are taking Pac-Man in a bold new direction. It is a gritty, dark Metroidvania now. Sci-fi, dystopian sci-fi Metroidvania, and the short is definitely M-rated. And it's one of those like you're watching it and you're like, what is it, like, when does Pac-Man show up? Is this Pac-Man? And like you don't get it. But if you're really looking, like you'll see the references, like when the guy, he spawns and the voice is like, you need to eat, you need to consume, and like he'll eat like the cherries off of the tree branch, and they look just like the cherries from the game. It's there's Easter eggs for sure. And no, it does tie in Pac-Man. And again, for everyone who's saying like this isn't Pac-Man, or this doesn't like look like or feel like Pac-Man, it's the new Pac-Man. It's literally, if you watch the trailer for the new game, if they were adapting that, then yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. Like they got that down, because that's what the new game is. It's not what you remember. It's not the Pac-Man you remember. And I will be pre-ordering that game. I will be playing that game when it comes out, because I have to see this. Like I have to. It's such a crazy direction they're taking this character, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But yeah, all you need to know is this will give you an idea. One of the final moments of the episode, Pac-Man, if you will, comes to life, wakes up, starts doing the chomp chomp chomp, and burrows into the back of the main character. and it's really gory and bloody and violent, and you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, sci-fi dystopian gritty horror Pac-Man, sure. I loved it. More, please, more. There won't be more because again we're getting a game, but yeah, I'd watch like a series of shorts, but please, maybe season 2 of Secret Level, do another short. There's still time. The game doesn't come out till like late next year. There's still time. What else? Okay. Episode 7 was Crossfire. Not the board, yeah, Crossfire. No, not that board game with the awesome commercial you remember from your childhood if you were a '90s kid. No, Crossfire is okay. Get ready. I had to research this one. This is interesting. If I were to ask you, what do you think is the most popular military or first-person shooter game out there right now? You'd probably guess like, oh, is it like Call of Duty, maybe Counter-Strike, CS:GO. Black Ops 6 just dropped, like people, that's blowing up, so it's got to be Black Ops, right? No, the most popular game worldwide, the most profitable game, the game that has made like the most money in history is a game called Crossfire. The latest iteration is called Crossfire X. You can get it on the latest console, PS5, Xbox Series X, that type of thing. But it's an old PC game from like, I don't know, 2007 or something like that. And it's been going on strong. It's been going. And you haven't even heard of it, but it is the biggest shooter game. How is that possible? Because it is a huge game in Asia. In Korea, China, and Japan. It is freaking everywhere. It is huge. And just think about how many people in China there are. So like everyone in China is playing this game. So yeah, no, it has a lot of subs. It has made so much freaking billions of dollars, and the thing I was reading is, yeah, the graphics aren't great. It's a pretty, minimalist game, but that's why they're able to run it on everything. Like every PC and every internet cafe in China and Korea has this game, and everyone's logged on, everyone's playing, and it's free to play, so everyone freaking has it. They make their money, I guess, from like whatever microtransactions, that type of thing. But yeah, it's a huge game that I know nothing about. But yeah, this short was okay. This is I would easily say this is the weakest of the shorts. I mean, obviously I didn't care about the game, but even so, it's just hard to. It's a military shooter. It's kind of hard to make that super interesting, especially when you have episodes about freaking Dungeons and Dragons and Pac-Man and Warhammer, and Sifu, Unreal Tournament, yeah, this is definitely the most realistic, the most bare bones, the most I'd give it probably a 5 out of 10. It's these two mercenary factions are fighting, and they're fighting over this guy, and the guy has like a briefcase, and like what's in the case. I don't think we never find out. Presumably some like weapon he's trying to sell or something. But yeah, the two sides, I had this issue as well. I'm sure it's the same case in the game, but like everyone's wearing that generic, beige military uniform. So it's like, I can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. Maybe that, I was hoping they were like they were making a point with that. Like perhaps there's going to be a scene where there's friendly fire. Like, they look so damn similar. And then in the chaos of the firefight, main girl shoots her partner because everyone looks the same. You know what I mean? No, they never do anything like that. So yeah, it was fine. And then once again, the graphics, the visuals were spectacular. Really good action scenes, but I just didn't really care that much. So that's the one short. You can pass on it if you don't have time to watch all 8. You can pass on that one. But yeah, I'd give that it's a solid 5 at least. And then the last short, oh my god, Armored Core, Legendary series. I don't know too much about this either. I know it's a mech series. I'd probably like it. I need to get into this one. But Armored Core, basically Gundam meets Dark Souls. It's the company From Software, the company that makes Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Yeah, they have a long-standing mech series called Armored Core. I don't know if a lot of people knew about that, but yeah. And they're still coming out. Armored Core 6 came out not too long ago. So anyway, yeah, the series is about that. Keanu Reeves. Talk about the celebrity cameos are wild in this. Like, again, Arnold Schwarzenegger in the New World episode was amazing. Keanu Reeves is amazing. I mean, the graphics, the visuals are perfect. It looks like Keanu. It looks just like Keanu. He plays this jaded mech pilot, and it goes into how the way it works. It's almost, you've seen like Pacific Rim, where you need to like neurally link with your mech. Like, it's a whole thing. So, Keanu has like whatever, like a chip implanted in his head, and he has like a voice. Like, he has like a Cortana type of a voice in his head, giving him guidance, and they have like a really entertaining like banter back and forth. I loved it. I loved the short. So this is another 10 out of 10 easily. Really great mech action. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to pick favorites. I might actually go, if I could only watch one of these shorts, I'd probably go with Armored Core. Actually, the mech action was spectacular, and Keanu Reeves' performance is fantastic as always. And it's great. In this very limited time, they are able to tell a story. They're able to show how world weary he is, how this program or this like process of linking with his mech, how it's taken its toll on him, how both physically and mentally, he's messed up in the head. He hears voices, that whole type of thing, but he also he feels just so alone in the world. He's like the last of these whatever Jaeger pilots or whatever, and he can't even, he's at a bar, but he can't socialize with and he's an outcast there. He's an outcast amongst his own kind, his humans. I mean, he even says that he even says that like there is I think the voice is something like, oh, don't you want to be with others like you? And he says like, there is no one else like me, basically. That's the whole point of the short. But yeah, so great start to part 1 of Secret Level. Part 2 is forthcoming. Again, I mean, they'd really have to shit the bed for me to not recommend the show overall, because this was such a damn good start. I'm gonna stand up and stretch my legs. But yeah, I highly recommend it. Please watch the episodes that are out. Once the second batch of episodes comes out, I'll hit you guys up again and let you know what I think of those. I know that there's going to be an episode about Concord. I can't wait. That Sony game that got canceled like 2 weeks after it came out. Yeah, the game's already dead, but they're still trying to advertise it. Yeah, unfortunately, they've animated the short, they filmed it, so like they have to release it. So this will be like the first time in history where there's a short advertising a game that's no longer playable. Anyway, that's it. See ya.